Hello, my young friends. Let me say this upfront. There is something fundamentally wrong with the high level meeting on the conduct of examinations on Sunday morning. It will be chaired by Union Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. The Education Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank will be there, and so will be former HRD Ministers Smriti Irani and Prakash Javadekar. Also attending the virtual meeting will be Education Ministers, Education Secretaries, and those in charge of conducting examinations in different states of India. Now, what is wrong? Because there is no information on whether any students will be part of this meeting. I ask, how fair is it for so many adults to sit together and decide on the fate of lakhs and lakhs of students all across the country? And I don't think it's okay in the times that we are in right now. And I hope there are some class 12 student voices also from both rural, semi-rural, semi-urban and urban areas to speak and articulate on behalf of the students at this meeting. In fact, the closest we will get will be a parent, and that would be Ms. Smriti Irani, because in May 2019, her daughter passed class 10, so I would assume that she would be a student of class 12 right now in 2021. So Ms. Smriti Irani can bring in a parent's perspective in addition to having been a former HRD minister. Now, what is likely to be discussed? Now, all the states will be asked for an opinion on whether it will be feasible to conduct the examinations now, and now means June end or July. And this will also include the entrance examinations in addition to the board examinations, CBSE, ISE, as well as different state boards. The intention really is to get a broad-based consensus instead of one state conducting board examinations for its state board students and another state cancelling them. That wouldn't really be fair. Now, since yesterday, I have been speaking to people in charge of education in different states in the country, education ministers, secretaries, commissioners in charge of school education, and opinion, I can tell you, is pretty much divided. Now, while many of them want the CBSE to spell out its stand first, tell what is its position, and then accordingly the states want to take a final decision. Many states have also made a list of suggestions which they intend to put forth at this particular meeting. We have spoken about what Chhattisgarh government has decided to do, and please take a look at what this particular state is doing for the class 12 board examinations. Please take a look at that video. Now, in my previous video, I had said that there are a few suggestions that are likely to be on the table, which I was requested not to share at that stage. Now, this is what my sources had told me at that time, and today I can share it with you. The government, point number one, and this is important, the government of India does not want to be accused of not exploring the possibility of conducting the examinations. कल को कोई ये ना कहे कि आपने कोशिश नहीं की परीक्षाओं को कंडक्ट कराने की. सो सरकार ये चाहती है कि देखा जाए कि क्या इन परिस्थितियों में भी परीक्षाएं कराई जा सकती है या नहीं. ओके, इट विल ट्राई टू सी इफ देयर इज एनी चांस ऑफ कंडक्टिंग द एग्जामिनेशन, बिकॉज द व्यू ऑफ द टॉप पॉलिटिकल एस्टैब्लिशमेंट इज दैट द क्लास 12 मार्क्स, एग्जाम मार्क्स कैन नॉट बी गिवन जस्ट ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ सम इंटरनल असाइनमेंट्स. दैट विल बी द लास्ट रिसोर्ट. सबसे लास्ट रिसोर्ट होगा. अगर कुछ भी नहीं हो सकता, उस समय पर इंटरनल असाइनमेंट्स के बेसिस पर मार्क्स दिए जाएंगे, लेकिन तब तक बाकी सारी पॉसिबिलिटीज को एक्सप्लोर करने का निर्णय केंद्रीय सरकार ने लिया है. नाउ, व्हाट आर द सजेशंस व्हिच हैव बीन गिवन to the education ministry? Now, there are some people who have been calling these kind of suggestions as fake news, but I can tell you on authority that these suggestions were part of the internal discussions. Okay. नंबर वन, जो आज के अखबारों में भी आ गया है कि कंडक्ट एग्जामिनेशंस ओनली फॉर द मेजर सब्जेक्ट्स, नॉट ऑल सब्जेक्ट्स, सो दैट यू कैन रिड्यूस द क्राउडिंग ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स एंड पुट लेस प्रेशर ऑन द सिस्टम. हैव शॉर्टर ड्यूरेशन एग्जामिनेशंस विद लेस नंबर ऑफ मार्क्स फॉर ईच पेपर. इन केस द मार्क्स कैन नॉट बी रिड्यूस्ड, introduce MCQs, यानी कि मल्टीपल चॉइस क्वेश्चंस, so that lengthy answers don't have to be written. Double the number of exam centers. The marks for the other not important subjects can be given on the basis of the marks obtained in the main papers or on the basis of internal assignments, right? If conducting exams at the same time is not possible throughout the country, do it in two phases. States that are less affected by COVID right now or in June can conduct them first, and those who are affected badly, they can conduct them in phase 2, right? Online board examinations, the center is of the opinion that they are not feasible in India, given that our internet penetration is pretty bad and connectivity issues are already there both in urban and in rural areas, besides issues of cheating, right, and malpractices. Now, the problem with all these suggestions is that you will still be calling the students in large numbers to the exam centers. Whether it is for 90 minutes or whether it is for 180 minutes, the student and the student's accompanying parent or guardian will still have to leave home and come to the examination center. और कोरोना को ऐसा नहीं है कि उसको 3 घंटे का समय चाहिए इन्फेक्ट करने के लिए, उसके लिए 90 मिनट का समय भी काफी है. Another issue is how much will it affect anyone? The major subject, let's say for a science student, are physics, chemistry, maths / biology and English. So at best what you are doing is that the student does not need to take the 5th examination. That's all, right? And that's not really much of a relief to a student in these times of COVID. 3, suddenly at this stage, at this very late stage, you cannot change the format of the question paper, right? You cannot say that instead of lengthy answers, we will give you MCQs. अरे MCQs का practice students ने कहाँ किया है? And sorry to say, none of those who are coming up with these kind of suggestions are thinking from a student's point of view. अगर MCQ का करना था, then you should have decided earlier so that they could have been, they could get practice in solving a question paper which is based on multiple choice questions. Now, the government proposes that those students who cannot take exams in the first phase, in case they are COVID positive or they are in some kind of quarantine, they can take it later. Now, all this sounds very good on paper, but in reality, you are only adding to the mental agony and trauma of the student. Now, the student will think that, oh, बाकी सब लिख देंगे, मेरा नहीं होगा, सिर्फ मैं ही रहूंगा, बाकी सेकेंड फेज में देने के लिए पहले फेज का शायद इजी रहेगा पेपर, बाकी बाद में टफ पेपर आएगा तो मैं क्या करूंगा. सो इवन इफ ही इज कोविड पॉजिटिव और इवन इफ he or she is in quarantine, the student will be under pressure to go and take the exam. Do you really want the student and the family to be subjected to this kind of mental pressure? See, the moti baat, and I'll tell you now the political angle to this. The moti baat is that the BJP government in Delhi does not want to be seen as taking a unilateral decision. ये नहीं कल बोले कि आपने निर्णय ले लिया, किसी से सलाह मशवरा नहीं किया. It wants to be seen as arriving at a political consensus on this particular issue, which is why this effort is being made to speak to all the states. मुझे नहीं मालूम कितने राज्यों को बात करने का मौका भी मिलेगा, और at least it will be seen as, oh, हमने तो बात की, हमने सबसे सलाह ली सारे राज्यों से. If you see states like Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh, they have been reluctant to cancel even the class 10 board examinations. Andhra Pradesh में 5 या 6 तारीख से 10वीं कक्षा की परीक्षाएं शुरू होने वाली हैं, अभी तक उनको रद्द नहीं किया गया है. तो एक तरह से इवन 10वीं कक्षा की परीक्षाएं आंध्र प्रदेश और कर्नाटक कराना चाहती है. But in case a significant number of states, and I'll tell you this, what could possibly happen at this meeting. If a significant number of states today at the meeting say that let's not add to the burden of students by conducting examinations, there could be a second look at these suggestions which have been given formally, informally, और इन सभी suggestions को खिड़की के बाहर डाला जा सकता है. In that case, the effort will be to arrive at a better way to assess the students. क्या कोई तरीका निकाला जा सकता है जिससे कि इन सभी विद्यार्थियों को ठीक तरह से assess किया जाए, और वो बहुत बड़ी चुनौती होगी. That will be a big challenge. Now that brings us to the question of college admissions. Delhi University हो, मुंबई यूनिवर्सिटी हो, कोई भी मद्रास यूनिवर्सिटी हो, जितने भी यूनिवर्सिटीज हैं पूरे देश में. Now colleges जो होंगे यूनिवर्सिटीज में, जैसे दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी में उनको एक सिस्टम निकालना पड़ेगा, मे बी a short online examination in order to assess the students before granting them admission. Now depending on the decision of the board examination, the decision on when to conduct the entrance examinations like JEE mains, जो बाकी 2 chances बाकी हैं, NEET, CLAT, etc., उनकी तिथियों के बारे में निर्णय लिया जाएगा. So you see, CBSE is at the core. सीबीएसई के ऊपर क्या निर्णय लिया जाता है उसके ऊपर आईएससी, स्टेट बोर्ड्स, नीट, जेई, क्लैट, बाकी सारी परीक्षाएं निर्भर करती है। सो ये पहला डिसीजन लेना पड़ेगा, उसके बाद बाकी सारे थिंग्स विल फॉलो ऑटोमेटिकली। सो आज का जो मीटिंग है काफी महत्वपूर्ण है, देखना पड़ेगा कि किस तरह की बातचीत होती है एंड वेदर दीज suggestions which have been mooted, whether they find acceptance, whether they are accepted by a majority of the states, या ऐसा ना हो कि महाराष्ट्र करने को तैयार हो, आंध्र प्रदेश करने को तैयार ना हो, आसाम करने को तैयार हो, बंगाल करने को तैयार ना हो. That shouldn't be the case because students of class 12 across the country should be on the same level, right? That's only fair to expect. So that's as far as this big meeting is concerned. This is the update. This is the fact-based information that you students should be aware of. Thank you very much for watching.